thought I'd share a delivery that I got from Vivid Aquariums, and that's an online reef aquarium store. They sell corals and fish and supplies and such. I think they're located in California, and I like to order from them because their actual livestock is always, it always blows me away. It always exceeds my expectations as far as how the corals look, the size of them. Everything I've bought from Vivid Aquariums has remained and thrived, and so for those of you who have never ordered online for any reef things or reef animals, I just want to show you how they come packed and how do you open them and how you acclimate them into your existing tank, etc. So here's the package, and Vivid calls you after you've placed your order to decide when they're going to deliver your package so that you can be here. And as you can see, it comes in a handle with care, fragile, live fish, handle with care. So the post office and such, UPS, and they handle it really well. They just place it, they ring the doorbell, and then they place it gently in front of my door, and that's it. So let me come back when I have this package open. So I'm just gonna, it's wound with the clear tape all the way around once so that this doesn't pop open in transit. So we just have to get a knife and cut that little strip off, and then the rest will peel away. So I'll be right back. Okay, there's tape all around the lid, so it's not just the one wrapped around that keeps it from popping open. There's also one piece of tape all the way around on the seam, so you have to break that as well. Okay, so I've opened it up, and it's covered with some paper and some either cold packs or hot packs, depending on what time of the year you're buying your stuff. Right here, it's the end of September, so it's not really hot and it's not really cool either. So they wrap them in newspapers, so they're well cushioned through their travel. And then you've got packing peanuts for more cushion. And as soon as you get through the packing peanuts, you will find your package right on the bottom there. Let me put this down so I can take all the packing peanuts away so you can see the package. And when you open up the bag, you'll get the acclimation procedures that the vendor suggests for limiting the shock that you have for your new animals, and you should follow these to the letter. Follow them very closely, because if by some chance the animal does die for the various reasons, you'll have a 15-day guarantee here, and but the only way you have that guarantee is if you actually follow all of these to the letter, and if something goes wrong after you follow these, then you can inquire about the 15-day guarantee. And make sure you document everything. Taking pictures helps. In case something happens, you can show that what the condition of the package was in when it got to you before you opened it, what condition the things were inside the package, etc. And but hopefully you won't run into any problems. I never have, and I've been ordering from them at least a dozen times. So I have no qualms about ordering reef livestock online. So please do take a moment before you do anything. After you take stuff out of the box, read this back and front. And that's pretty much the instructions that I'm following. I have all the aquarium lights off, as you can see. I don't know if I showed that there, but none of the lights are on. And you know, that way he can kind of not be all shocked when the, you know, he goes from the darkness of the package to the bright light of your aquarium. So, okay, just wanted to remind you about this, and I'll be back in about 15 minutes. The little top part of the bag that was sealed, and now I have an opening here. And sometimes, just an FYI, sometimes when you buy stuff from any of the online reef stores, they'll have, when you open the first layer of the bag, you'll run into the second layer, which isn't cuttable from up here. It's you have to kind of take the second thing out of the first one because it's turned upside down, and then snip that one as well. So if you see two layers here, you have to pull one layer out of the other. So anyway, there's my sea urchin, and so now I'm going to pour the sea urchin and the water from the bag it came in into this container very gently. Okay, so you don't want to just, you know, open it and just, you know, so the urchin just slams to the bottom with a bunch of water. You know, the way you hold an urchin, if you need to kind of cradle it in your hand and then put it on the bottom, it's kind of like holding a cotton ball. A lot of people ask, well, how do you hold an urchin? Will it poke you? Will you hurt it? If you got a cotton ball from your cabinets in the bathroom and you kind of hold it like this, like kind of barely touching the tips of your fingers right there, that's how you would hold an urchin. So it's like you're holding a cotton ball. You're not grabbing him. You're just kind of touching him, cradling him with your fingertips so that he won't move around, and then placing him gently. So I'm going to do that now. Turn the bag side. I put the bag back in the container, and then I turn it sideways. And then that way he can just let go. And there he is. So he didn't, you know, plop out of the bag and drop down into the bottom. You don't really want that either. So, and of course, while you're doing this, you should have clean hands, and clean hands means no soap either on your hands. So, you know, you have to have clean hands, but also rinse the soap that you cleaned your hands with so that there's no residue of anything on your hands, and then dry them off. Okay, now I'm going to move this guy into the tank so he can start to acclimate. And let's see, what time is it? Right now it's 10:28. Let's see if we can get, yeah, 10:28. And so that way we can time ourselves. So I'll be right back when I have this in the tank. One of the things that you're trying to acclimate for, aside from temperature, is salinity. So what is the salt content of your tank versus the salt content of the water that your animal came in? And those two have to match up. Those are one of the things that have to match up before you put the animal in your tank. So I have my trusty hydrometer here that measures the salinity of the water, and I just have this plastic based turkey baster that I got at the grocery store that I use just for this kind of stuff, so it's clean. And I just got water out of my tank, and then poured it in here until it got to about this much. And so now I can see, let's double check and get all this other stuff. Now I can see if I tap all the bubbles off of the white thing. Make sure there are no bubbles on this white thing, and it'll give you a false reading. And so it looks like the seawater in my tank looks to be about between 1.024 and 1.025. I'm just going to call it 1.025. And so now we'll go check the water that the urchin came in. Now I have the water from the container that the urchin came in from the store, and I'm measuring that for salinity, and that one seems to be more on the 1.024 area. between that and 1.025. So it's the existing tank salinity and this salinity is pretty much the same. There's maybe about, I don't know, maybe a little bit less. So I'm just going to, the more that I add from the tank water to his container, the more matched up that number is going to be, since it's not that far off. So, okay, so another 15 minutes have passed by, and I'm going to put more of the tank water into the container. 28, and so they say that the time for acclimating should be about 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. You might want to double check that. It may be 30 minutes, it may be an hour, but as I recall, it's about 45 minutes, so that's what I'm going on today. But make sure you check for your information when you actually are going to be doing this. So there's a tank, and as you can see, I put the thing on the bottom lip there so it'll hold. You want to make sure that it does hold before you walk away, because I've had these slip off in the water stream and then dump the coral right on right in the water, so that's not good. So make sure it's hold steady before you leave it unattended. So now what we're going to do, see, now it's acclimating to the temperature of your water without actually being in the water. So soon the water that it's in, which was the water it came in the package, and the water in your tank will be the same temperature. And then what we can do is in about 5 minutes we are going to get about a quarter of a cup of water from your tank and pour it into this. That's going to be the first step that we do, or the second step. The first step is actually acclimating for temperature like we're doing now. Okay, I'll come right back when I'm ready to put a little bit of tank water into the container. So here's what I got for putting the water in from my tank into this container. And I use, it's plastic, food grade plastic that you get at the grocery store. And it's about half a cup, I believe. And so you just need to rinse and, make sure this is really clean, that there's been no food or nothing in here. So you rinse, and then scrub it out and then dry it off. And make sure that, it's a plastic one, not metal, because metal will kill invertebrates. So I'm going to take a dip here, and I'm going to put about a quarter cup or half of this. Slowly pour it on the side, not on the animal, but to the side of his little container. So now he's going to be starting to acclimate to the salinity and the temperature, the pH, and everything else that makes up synthetic seawater. So they have to match before you can put the animal into your tank, so he doesn't get shocked by the different water parameters. So everything needs to be as close as possible before you put him in the tank. So this process will take about another 30-40 minutes, and in another 15 minutes I'm going to come and get another one of these and pour it into the container. Okay, so I'm going to take another half cup of this water, and I'm going to trickle it in there. You can see him in the left corner over here. So, okay, I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Put another half of this container of tank water into the container that's hanging on the back with the sea urchin, and lights are still off. So I'll come back in another 15 minutes. And now it's time to put the urchin in our tank. And just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Do be careful when you're acclimating your animals. If you hang them on, inside the aquarium like this, be careful, because here's my light, for instance. So the light is this far from the animal, So be careful that, anything doesn't overheat here. You really have to use your judgment, because the light hitting my hand right now is really hot. So you don't want to bake your animals before you put them in the tank. So, you know, moving them out from underneath the light, maybe to hang on the side or the front, would be better than directly underneath the light. Okay, and so now I'm going to be acclimating him, so I'll be right back when I start to put him in the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and gently grab him, like I was saying, like a cotton ball. You just kind of, the urchin, I'm just kind of letting him fall out naturally and making sure he doesn't fall. So, okay. He's on there. That's the acclimation process that I use for invertebrates, in particular the sea urchin, who's going to be helping me get this crazy algae taken care of and cleaned up, I hope. And so thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, or comment, and I'll try to answer your question as best as I can. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.